Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faces a midnight deadline to qualify for the first presidential debate of 2024, airing next week on CNN. He needs at least 15% support in 4 separate national polls of registered or likely voters, and he is still 1 poll shy. He also has to appear on enough state ballots to reach 270 electoral votes. Right now, he's on 7 ballots, putting him far behind that magic number. Here's CNN's statement on this. Quote, "The law in virtually every state provides that the nominee of a state-recognized political party will be allowed ballot access without petitioning, as the presumptive nominees of their parties, both Biden and Trump, satisfy this requirement. As an independent candidate under applicable laws, RFK Jr. currently does not. The mere application for ballot access does not guarantee that he will appear on the ballot in any state. In addition, RFK Jr. does not currently meet our polling criteria, which, like the other objective criteria, were set before issuing invitations to the debate." Let's talk all things debate with veteran pollster and communications strategist Frank Luntz. Frank, thank you so much for being with us. What do you think the dynamic would have been like with RFK on stage?
It would have been significant. And I hate to admit this, Boris, but I've done every presidential debate since 1996. It was the first time that I started doing focus groups. So I've had a chance to listen to what the American people think and how they react to everything that happens. Point number 1 is that Robert Kennedy Jr. doesn't deserve to be in this debate because he hasn't met the qualifications. And these have been very clearly defined, and they've been defined for 25 years now. So it's not a big deal. He'll have the chance in September, perhaps, to be able to make that statement. Second is that I believe this will be the highest debate audience that we've ever had. That even people who don't care that much about politics are going to be tuning in because they want to see I got to be careful about my language here, about the confrontation between Trump and Biden, and they both have so much to prove. And really, this, to me, will be the most important day of the entire election campaign. Donald Trump has to be... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what advice would you give the candidates? You were saying Donald Trump has to be...
Okay, first thing is he has to prove that he has learned from his presidency, that 2024 will be different, that he wants to try to bring back some of the things that the public, according to polling, did appreciate, such as a secure border, inflation under control, a very strong economy. However, he's weaker on issues like abortion and healthcare, which benefit Joe Biden. Trump has to be able to prove that he is still presidential in his approach, and his final debate against Biden, the series that we saw in 2020, was an embarrassment for him and for the country. That women turned against him because they found him rude, they found him abusive. This is something that Trump voters don't want to hear. But the way Donald Trump acted in that first presidential debate with Chris Wallace as the host was vicious, personal, mean, and it turned voters off against him. Joe Biden, on the other hand, has to prove that he's still not only with it, but engaged and involved. And voters are not going to be asking him what he did over the last 4 years. They're going to be asking him what he's going to be doing over the next 4. And it would be a mistake for him to say, hey, look at all the legislation we got passed. Look at the compromise that we were able to do with Congress, because that's not what this presidential campaign is going to be about. It's going to be about the future, not the past. And one more point. Yeah. I really believe that the American democracy is at stake here. I really believe that the level of trust and confidence that the public have in the media, in Congress, in the presidency, in the Supreme Court, in our governmental institutions are at or near all-time lows. We just finished a project within the last 48 hours. I'm looking at the data, and frankly, it's making me sick. I know it's amusing to some people. It's funny to them that the public so hates their institutions and the elites that run them. Well, the fact is, if you don't trust your government, you don't trust your leaders, you don't trust the people who report information to you, you don't trust the system of government that has worked in this country for 250 years, if you don't trust it, then man, we are in serious trouble. And I think that this debate is either going to turn the tide on that level of faith and trust, or it's going to confirm in the minds of more than half of Americans that our government, our democracy, our system of how things operate, our checks and balances, that it is not only broken, but that maybe we should get rid of it. And that scares the living hell out of me.
That is terrifying when you put it in context that way. Frank, I did want to ask you about a new poll out of Iowa that you recently pointed out. This poll extends Trump's lead over Biden beyond his 2020 performance. You argue this is bad news for Biden, even though Iowa has been reliably red for quite some time. What are you seeing in this poll that tells you something about where 2024 is headed?
Well, first, I owe an apology because I should not be filibustering, and that's what I did. And I've always appreciated the questions that you and your colleagues ask me on this show. So I apologize for that. And I'm going to apologize because I'm going to move to a separate poll. To me, it's not that Donald Trump is winning so big in Iowa. That's not the story. It's that he's making it close in Minnesota. Minnesota is a reliable Democratic state. It votes Democrat in every presidential campaign, and poll after poll, I see Trump within 2 or 3 points in Minnesota. I don't think the media understands exactly what's going on right now. Yes, Trump dropped a few points after being found guilty on 34 felony accounts. But remember this, that would have destroyed any candidate as recently as 10 years ago. And the fact that Donald Trump is still even with, or in some cases leading Joe Biden after being found guilty of 34 felonies, oh my God, that is so significant. And one more point, I'm watching the independent vote. I don't believe that they're swinging back and forth between Trump and Biden. I think that they've decided that they hate both candidates, they hate both parties, and they're voting out of anger, out of desperation, out of resentment that this is where our political system has gotten. So be very careful in how you analyze what goes on from now through the debates, through the election, because I think there could be a hidden anger vote that surprises everyone on Election Day.
Frank, I got to say, you may describe it as filibustering. I would say you were just on a roll, man. I hope you don't mind me sharing with folks. You had some health issues a few months back, but it's great to see you doing well. We always appreciate having you on. Frank Luntz, thanks so much.
I thank you, and I consider it an honor.
Of course.